right, welcome to Biashara Tuesday. You're still watching Morning Cafe with me and Odida. This morning, I have a very big panel in studio for on the show, and we're talking about how Kenya's private sector is investing in the youth. Of course, through skills training, especially via a model called dual apprenticeship under a program called Propeller. And of course, they're here to take us through what this model is about, and if at all the youth are really feeling this, the impact of this investment that the private sectors are having in the job market. And of course, if you want to be part of this conversation, which of course we do encourage, do interact with us on our social media platforms at TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, and on X at TV47 News KE. We'll be glad to hear from you. I'll start just right next to me here. We have Jimmy Delion, we have Caroline Kanja, Jane Kamau and Benta Kenyi, both working closely with the program to ensure it's a smooth delivery. But Jimmy, I know I understand you work very closely with this program, the Propeller model. And from my own understanding, it just basically means learn and work model, for these young people. But from where you sit, how would you explain it to somebody watching at home, hearing about Propeller for the very first time? What does it entail? How old is it? And what needs is it really seeking to solve?
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you very much, viewers of this show. So youth and skills is a topic that is very dear to me, and Propeller is at the heart of working with private sector. We like to describe, maybe let me just take a step back. So I lead the Propeller program.
Yes.
I work with Swiss Contact, which is an international NGO that has developed this expertise for over 45 years in the East African region and around the world, working in the areas of youth and skills development. Now, the problem of youth unemployment in Kenya is a very complex one. Over 1 million youth are released into the job market on an annual basis. And it's safe to assume that about 40% youth unemployment prevails in this country. And there is a real problem to launch for a lot of young people having finished education. They are not able to find good jobs in the marketplace. So Propeller is an employer-led dual apprenticeship program. And primarily it positions private sector in the driving seat of attempting to solve the problem of youth unemployment. Right? And because it's a complex problem, it then brings together other system actors such as NITA, who is the regulator for curriculum and training. It brings the young person at the center of all these activities. And of course, the private sector, who actually create 90% of jobs in the Kenyan economy, they are a very key factor in determining what sort of skills the young people need. So Propeller has been in implementation for now about 3 years in collaboration with Don Bosco, which is a local TVET institution that is part of this very interesting collaboration between us all. This year, the first cohort graduated in January, and 80% of them were retained by their companies. So this is quite a high employment rate, a very strong outcome for us. We are moving into the next cohort this year, so we are really excited about Propeller's contribution in solving the youth unemployment problem in collaboration with the private sector and the other actors. Yeah.
Right, so I understand that 3 years, of course, you haven't already hit the 5-year mark, which could be business people say it is the amount of time that they use to really measure the return on investment.
Yeah.
But of course, we'll be getting into talk about the challenges, of course, of this program. But coming to you, Jane, you are the Director Industrial Training and Skills Development at, of course, NITA. But listening to how Jimmy brings it out, it's clear that for this kind of model to work, there has to be a very, very strong system with this. And as NITA, how exactly are you involved in making our Propeller successful?
Okay, thank you so much. My name again is Jane Kamau, Director Industrial Training and Skills Development at NITA. NITA is under the State Department of Skills, Labor and Skills Development in the Ministry of Labor. Within the Act of NITA, that is Cap 237, within the point of number 24, Section 21, it guides NITA to come up with a scheme And a scheme is a document or a framework for regulation and standardization. So that scheme is what regulates and guides all the processes of NITA as far as training is concerned. It's a regulator. So within those schemes, you have 4 schemes. One of them is apprenticeship. And the apprenticeship scheme guides on how the entry behavior of the person. What is the age? What are the qualifications? How long should their contract be? And then it leads to once even a contract. It guides on the requirements of the employer. So in this particular case, when the employer makes the request, the NITA considers the request. One, the employer must be a levy contributor, because it's good to note that industrial training levy is what then meets the cost of the training when the student is in the center. Because apprenticeship is a program where the student spends part of the time, in this particular case, 30% of the training time in the center and 70% of the time in the workplace. And even in the center, the conditions must meet the requirements. So there is inspection at the workplace to ensure that the employer has a minimum of 3 staff per apprentice. Then at the center, and the employer must also have the facilities, the equipment that is required. Then at the center, the equipment must also be aligned. And I do remember when we started this project, most employers, they said, we must be sure of where to go for the in-center training. They even vetted even the trainers, because you remember in Kenya, there are institutions where the trainer may not have themselves been in industry, or they were there a long time ago, or they only went there for industry attachment. So there's a lot of regulation. Eventually what will happen is NITA will grant permission to the employer to uptake the apprentices. They will determine for the employer, based on what they have found out during the inspection, the number of apprentices they can take up. Even if they take 1, it's okay. And then there will be a contract signed by the apprentice, who is recruited by the employer, and the employer has a copy, and the DG NITA retains a copy. So the DG NITA regulates the whole of that process. During the training, there will be reports coming on monthly basis from the employer on the performance. And the employer also must have a training plan of how they are going to meet the requirements of the curriculum. Then in the center, there are also feedback. So this student, the apprentice, we don't actually call them students, we call them apprentices. They are either with the employer for 3 weeks or 1 week with the trainer. And then the Swiss Contact also, in agreement with the employers, decided the curriculum must meet the industry standards. Remember, in most cases, industry moves faster than even what is happening at the training. So we have sat together. NITA has the sector training committees, and these sectors are 12. And within those sectors, we have the infrastructure sector, and there is a construction. We go deep into that. So that is the sector that leads. The sectors you bring on board who are the players in the market. And that is how we landed the employers who are here with us, and they nominate their best practitioners within the industry. And they are the ones who sit with us, and they tell us this is what should be trained for a particular level. For now, we are doing level 5 of the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. So that curriculum has gone through. It even goes through validation, though we have developed it with a few. Then we call a wider group, and the wider group then are the ones who come and say, now we endorse that. It again goes to piloting. We have already piloted, especially in the round 1, it was a pilot phase. We still go back to the employer who says this and this and this, because there is monitoring and evaluation of that curriculum. And that curriculum, once it has gone through the full cycle, this one has gone through the full cycle, then it goes for gazettement. In this particular case, the curriculum was a review. So it had already been gazetted, it was a review. Now we are doing level 6. Then once that has happened, then we also give assessment. Remember, during the training, there are reports coming in. The reports account for a certain percentage of the assessment. Then eventually, we assess. And the assessment is also practical. Within the center, as the candidate is doing, the apprentice is now doing their work there. One of the things that we also do is to ensure that the people who are mentoring the apprentices in the workspace, we also train them. We have a curriculum we have developed with the International Labour Organization, who are also part of our partners. It is called the work-based. And this in-company trainers manual, we pick, the employer nominates the person who is going to be working with the apprentice, or maybe an attachee, or even an intern. And we take them through, because remember, they are not teachers by profession or trainers, but they are skilled people within the industry. So we take them through and we guide them on how to handle. So they're able to come out to assess the person. They're able to confirm that this person has done ABCD as far as training is concerned. So the curriculum is implemented both in the center and at the workplace. And the beauty about the apprenticeship program is that the employer will never suffer lack of employees. There is no issue of attrition. The older employers the older employees who are very skilled are able to mentor through. So throughout their life, you will never see even the companies advertising for people unless they need very specialist skills, because they have already done their own. And one of the things we tell employers, train for your own consumption and leave the others for your competition. So eventually what will happen, we shall have a lot of highly skilled youth who can work both in Kenya and even in other parts of the world, because there's no limit as to how far they can go. And then the government, through NITA, will be contributing towards supporting the youth get their skills and their jobs, and the manufacturing sector and the industry at large be able to do that. NITA operates both in the formal and in the informal sector. If you look at what is happening in the affordable housing space, NITA has been there. Most of the people who are engaged there, the people we have been assessing, are actually apprentices, working under contractors, working under the foremen. And we go there, we assess them as they do their work. We don't need to draw them, because that's where they earn their daily living. So the Propel project is very successful. For the first time in Kenya, through the Propel project, we've been able to have a training model of 1 week in center and 3 weeks with the employer. If you go to Europe, it is 1 day with the center, 4 days in the employer. So you can see we have brought it so close, because initially, apprenticeship is there. It has been there for many years. NITA has been implementing apprenticeship. Even now we have other apprentices in NITA, but they go for like 3 months, then another 3 months with the employer, 3 months in the center. It takes the normal kind of training, but this is the closest to the ideal. Then it's also good to note that the apprenticeship program in NITA is aligned to recommendation 208 of the ILO convention of 1/11, that is 2023. So we ensure that that is towards decent work, decent livelihoods, to ensure that people are uplifted. Where is the person working? Is it in a decent environment? Are they earning a decent livelihood? So those are towards the initiatives. And when I mentioned the ILO, it's good to note that NITA is tripartite. NITA has the employer within our board, we have the employee, we have the private sector, we have the informal sector, the special interests, all represented. And that is why when you talk of industrial training, we are dealing with people who are in industry. Even this is an industry. Even you know you are industry where you are, isn't it? Yes.
All right. Of course, you've told us what you're doing different, or what you're doing to, of course, ensure that this program is successful. But we'll be coming to the nitty-gritties as to why, of course, you think it's actually working and why it would really make a difference in the employment or unemployment situation in the country. But let's hear from you now. Caroline, you are an employer. Of course, this is General Manager, Jupiter Energy Solutions, a private company. But of course, coming in with these apprentices, of course, they're training. But now, what was the turning point for you? This can bring in a lot of risks in the workplace. You're bringing in somebody you're training, but now they're hands-on with how the businesses of your company are running. So how are you managing the risk, and how was the turning point like for you?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm the General Manager, Jupiter Energy Solutions. Jupiter is actually over 45 years in the industry. Our business is to ensure that power flows efficiently. That means we do electrical works in buildings. And well, when you look at our works, they are actually manpower. It's all about people and the works they do with their hands. So for us, when Hilti Foundation, together with Swiss Contact, approached us in our company, it was an opportunity for us to partner together, because if you look at the background of most of our, who you call fundis, if we come to reality, you call them fundis. So if you look at the background of most of our staff and our employees, most of them go to site. Normal, they wake up, they go to site, they learn how to do the builder's work. Then they start an interest in electrical, in plumbing, and they learn a few things, and then they become experts. But that person has no training. They don't have the theoretical training on site. Again, their self-esteem is not also very well aligned with their work. So that was a challenge to us, and that's why we opened up. We actually took the opportunity because, of course, we started 3 years ago together with, when they were starting with cohort 1, we took four apprentices. And actually, funny enough, we took 2 electrical, 2 plumbers, yeah, just to support them. And we were part of the curriculum development. And one of the areas that we pushed is not only the installations. In our field, there's also design. There's reading of drawings. When a building is built, there's a drawing that is made. Most of the technicians, the fundis that come on the site, they don't know how to read the drawings. Most of them. Another thing was the soft skills. They didn't know how to interact with people. Most people, even when you have fundis in your house, you don't want to be there. You want to run away because you think you cannot interact with them socially. So I think that was an opportunity for us because we were able to put in the soft skills in the curriculum. How can they communicate? How can they read drawings? How can they plan their work? Because it is helping them, but also in a big part is also helping us. Because you can be able to leave bigger responsibility to this fundi when they are in there at site. And also professionalism in our work, which is also a very big core value to our company, how we deliver our work professionally. It was also part of what Swiss curriculum was teaching. So we were able to incorporate it there, and for sure when you look at the graduates for this year, when you look at their deliverable at site, you can see the difference between someone who just came from college after 3-4 years and someone who has been part of the company. They've learned the culture of the company. They've learned the soft skills, the customer service, you know, what to do, what not to do. It's really different, and we find it's easier even, maybe just even an example, if you talk about tools, we use a lot of tools. In this program, the workshop is well built such that when they are starting to do their curriculum, they actually familiarize themselves with the tools from the beginning of their education. So it's easier. Some of this, the diploma and the certificates, like the students who come to us for attachment and even for employment, they don't know tools. They don't know some of the tools that are used because they are taught theory without the practical part of it. So we are really happy to be partners of Swiss and Hilti and also NITA. And also NITA have also helped us to be able to align ourselves together with Swiss. Swiss have also called us for a lot of training as a company. Offshore training that is on safety, and also on the human resource processes, we have also gone through the training. So really being a partner is not only just for us, it's also for helping the community and also even our growth. Yes, and thank you.
Carol, as you say, you're noticing positive change from this, people who come in through this model, the Propel A, as compared to, of course, those who've been there and learned the system of the company. Right now, from where you sit, would you prefer bringing in apprentices and just training them for them to take up the job market at Jupiter, or just hiring people again and trying to teach them, from scratch? Do you prefer the apprentices now, or just hiring normally?
Well, we have different level of employment. We have the engineers who are normally mostly for the design, yeah, and then we have the technicians. First of all, the people that we sponsored, we actually absorbed them 100%. Yes, both.
That is from Propele?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we absorbed them. So they are part of our staff. And for the technicians, that division of technicians, I would prefer this system. Yes. I'm not discouraging the ones who have already started, because even them, they have a value. But I would say that if even other trainers and other institutions, maybe they can adopt the same, or at least improve somewhere, because it really gives value to this student when they are coming. We're not just, they're not just bringing to us people with no practical skills. It's very hard to train someone on the ground. Yeah.
All right, asante sana Carol. Benta, let's bring you in. Good morning, and I understand you're a graduate of this program, the Propeller. You're a Propeller graduate, of course. But before you joined the program, what were you doing exactly? You know, you sat down and said, let me join this program. I want to gain skills on 1, 2, 3. What was your reality before joining the program?
Okay, thank you so much. As you mentioned, I'm Benta Akinyi, a Propeller graduate and currently employed at Trident Plumbers Limited. Before I joined Propeller, I was just running a small business. I had a kiosk, which I used to support my family. But through the NGO's program called Dream Girls, I heard from my mentor about the Propeller Dual Apprenticeship program, and I said to myself that this is the golden opportunity which I've been waiting for, because after Form 4, our family was not able to pay for my university fee because I come from a humble background. So I decided to start a business to do the savings so that one day I may enroll in the college or university. But thanks to God, I heard about the Propeller, and I took the opportunity to join Propeller, and I was saying that this is opportunity which people just wish they could get, where you study and you work at the same time, and you are being supported. There is no way you will say you cannot go to school or go to the workplace because of lack of the transport, because we are being given monthly stipend. And I really thank the program so much, and also my company, Trident Plumbers, because they took a bigger role in ensuring my success, because when we start the program, they were involved in payment of our school fees as the student, and also the payment of the monthly stipend. And also they were enrolling us to different sites, company sites. Like for me, in the past 2 years when I was studying, I've worked for about 7 sites around Nairobi. And that one exposed me to get different skills, because we always take 3 weeks in the company and 1 week in the school during that 1 month. And I can say it's the best program, because what we learn in the classroom, we go to the practical and do it. You feel it is some enjoyment because you learn something, then you do the exact thing. That one encourages you when you study. And I can say also, Propeller has been journeying with us, including our trainers at school, and also the mentors at the company that have made me to be here today.
All right. Caroline, Benta is talking about these stipends. Of course, you know, this is something that people watching will be, of course, interested to hear about when we hear money. But she's saying every month as an apprentice, there is, you know, this stipend. Does it increase once they are absorbed into the system? Or is it just the stipend that they were getting monthly, now they carry it on until now as employees even?
First of all, even when they are in the program, the first year, the pay is not the same as the second year. How the program is prepared, it's the first year they are giving you very low productivity because actually you're the one giving, because you have to give a mentor to this young person.
Yeah.
You have to give them a mentor that is like a foreman or a supervisor. They have to teach them. They have to go with them somewhere and they learn. So you're giving, and you're paying also school fees and you're giving them monthly. So most of the time, you're the one giving. The second year, these people are different because you can actually leave them to do some work. So the stipend increases the second year. Then, of course, when you absorb them, you have also to increase them again. Yeah,
it increases as they go.
Yes,
interesting. Now, Jane, you told us about what you're doing as NITA, of course, to make Propele successful. But of course, we know there's a gap between training and employability, and this has persisted for years in the country. But now, what made NITA buy into this model, the Propele?
Well, like I said before, is that if you look at the NITA Act, 80% of it is apprenticeship. But again, there is the mentality which has been there also in the country of people wanting certificates and degrees, very high qualifications with a lot of struggle, and yet they are not getting jobs. So having done that, then Propele was able to identify and note that since the framework is already there, all the requirements are there, then what was lacking, the industry needed to come on board in a better way, and then the reaching out to the institutions, and even bringing on board different institutions like Don Bosco. So there's something that needed to be unlocked. And through Propele, we're able to now sit together, actualize the sector-specific committees, because we have now a whole consortium of electrical employers. We have a whole consortium of plumbing contractors. So this is what we call the sector-specific committees. Remember, we have the broader sector training committees. Now, these are specific to those trades, and that now has taken shape. It is still a work in progress, but it has taken good shape. With that kind of support, with the employer being encouraged, remember there's also an injection from Propele. Then one of the other things which is good to note, and she has indicated, when the people are being given the stipend, it is stipulated in the scheme that they will be receiving a certain percentage of the wage bill in the first year. Then as a minimum wage. Then as another percentage increases in the second year, and in the final year they go to the full. All these regulations then needed to be clear and clarified to the employer, and that is the kind of support we again got from PLA. Then there is also the industrial training levy. Most employers don't quite have a clarity on that, and we try, and this is part of why I'm here, to ensure that employers also understand that industrial training levy is not a tax. It is money meant for use to upskill their employees and also to use for grooming new employees into their workspace. If you listen to Benta, she's happy, to Karen, she's a happy employer because she's not struggling. Remember, a new graduate will take like 6 months before they can deliver anything tangible. For somebody who is coming through the Propele project or through the apprenticeship project, that person quickly adapts into the workplace and they're able to start delivering. So Propele brought for us scalability and also the alignment towards now the 1 week and the 3 weeks, and also bringing on board even many employers. Yes.
All right. Jimmy, Benta here is talking about she wasn't able to join university, but a lot of people watching might also wonder the criteria that you choose, of course, to bring in people into this program. Are we looking at school leavers or those people who are not, they call it NEET, not in education, employment or training? How do you select those that, join the program now?
Yeah, thank you. So the selection of people who can join Propele, first of all, was arrived at in collaboration again with the private sector, looking at what are the profiles that the private sector require in the workplace. People who are teachable, humble, are able to adapt to the world of work, but also guided by NITA regulations. So it was a co-designed approach at arriving at what are the key requirements. So starting off with people like Benta, just fresh out of high school, that is really the sort of target demography that we are looking at for the Propeller program. People in the age range 18 to 25 that meet the qualification requirements of a grade D, Grace, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and then obviously also primarily and coming at from a perspective where we are aware that a lot of marginalized communities even within Nairobi have really talented people that haven't gotten the opportunity. So the targeting is also quite very deliberate in going into those areas where there is less of an opportunity to come to the table. Also, most importantly, when you look at the plumbing and electrical trades within the construction sector, they've largely been male dominated, and we are for the first time really being intentional by ensuring that there is sufficient female representation in what have in the old days been male-dominated trades. And they have proven that they can do it. They have excelled. A lot of them have been retained by the companies that took them on. So in a nutshell, we are looking for a youth that is ambitious, that is intelligent, talented, and is willing to take up this opportunity. And we are currently recruiting the fourth cohort for Propeller, which is ongoing between now and November.
And of course, even as you talk about the criteria that you use, what is the challenges that you're incurring or encountering even as you try to get these? You're saying you're going into the marginalized also communities, yes, but you'd also tell us which counties exactly are you in? You talked about Nairobi, that there's as much as it's an urban area, of course there are people who are not able to get education, university. You'll tell us about the counties that you're in. Just start us off with that first.
Yeah, thank you. So we are in Nairobi, and we've recently expanded into Mombasa. And within Nairobi, primarily, we are looking at those really marginalized spaces within the city where there is a lot of young people out there. They have the potential. Some of them are not able to continue with school, but they have the drive and the ambition. And we are fortunate that even the partner, Don Bosco Boys Town, which also shares the same ambition about investing in the Kenyan youth. So I think in terms of bringing together a group of partners that share a vision for the potential that is locked inside the Kenyan youth and how together we can unlock it. So that has driven the targeting. Of course, the Propeller model, talking about the next few years, it will expand beyond plumbing and electrical trades, and it will then move into those parts of the country where the prospects are strongest.
Jane, the curriculum side, and you work with the companies to shape what the youth are learning. How do you keep it up to date to align with, say, today's real market?
Okay, when the curriculum is being piloted, remember we have already done it with the employer, and when it goes now to the rollout, during the full rollout after piloting, then we are able to have a lot of interactions from the employers. And again, this goes back to the sector training committees. The people are continuously going on, we are continuously monitoring, and we get feedback. And there comes a time when there is new technology that comes through. I'll give an example of a curriculum where we did, the information came and we got e-waste, the issue of e-waste, which is all over. We did a small topic within the electrical curriculum on how to handle e-waste. Then after that, it is still continued, and we realized e-waste is actually major. And we got out the small topic, and it's now a full curriculum on e-waste. So it's continuous work. You get information through, one of the things that NITA is mandated to do is to collect labor market information. So when we have attachment, people out in the industry for industrial attachment from all devices, all institutions, even from the universities, then we are able to interact with the employer, we are able to ask, what is lacking? What is it that has come on board? What is new? And then we are able to incorporate that. Again, the employers, you see, now we have this new thing, we have this new technology. Like now we are working on e-vehicle, e-mobility. They are doing it. We have already done a curriculum on e-mobilities. We have new technologies in solar. We have the electric vehicle. These are all technologies that come, and then we are able to say, whom can we partner with? Because again, as government, we work with a lot of partnerships. We cannot just do it alone. Then remember now we are in the better agenda. And you can remember now you asked, why would you even be interested? Part of the reason why we are here is because this is in the better agenda. We are in the housing space. Some of the contracts are actually in affordable housing, where people are doing their work. So again, we go and look into that. We have new technologies coming up, even in paints and all these kind of things. There are lifts in almost, there are several high-rises coming up. Again, we are listening and we are taking in. Within the Ministry of Labor, there is also the labor market system. It is there, and again, we gather information from there. So it's a question of listening to every corner and getting the partners, gathering information, and actualizing it into a curriculum. Seeking who are the best as far as this kind of technology is concerned. Yes.
All right.
I may just add something. So just connecting to what Jane has mentioned, and it would also feed into what are some of the challenges of this sort of approach. I think the biggest one is the mindset shift that needs to happen to fully gather momentum to implement this sort of model. It needs a very strong mindset shift from the private sector as well as from the young people to actually view workforce skills development in another way, to frame the engagement with private sector in a different way. The model that Benta described, 1 week at the school and 3 weeks at the company for a duration of 2 years. Young people need to have the staying power and the resilience to commit for the entire duration if they are to really get value out of it. For the private sector, the question is, what's in it for me? What's the return on training investment? So there's a strong mindset shift to begin to see themselves in the driving seat of improving skills and making sure that there are opportunities for young people. So those are the challenges, but I think it's a journey. We are seated here today because there has begun to be a change in the way we view the opportunity to work with young people through the private sector.
Even as you talk about you're anticipating a mindset shift with this program, what do you think they're so reluctant with just embracing it and incorporating it into their day-to-day life and of course businesses?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of reasons, but first, when we started Propeller, we always came at it with a startup mentality. We were prototyping a model that we had been seen to work in Switzerland, but the question was, how do we contextualize this for the Kenyan context? We needed to prove that this model indeed would be beneficial for, one, the young people, but also that employers could see value in this type of approach. We have successfully proven that in the first phase of this program. We now have more private sector engagement and participation. So I think that has now changed, and also NITA has helped us to structure the incentives that bring more private sector on board. So that has really been very key.
All right. Carol, perhaps did you have to make any internal changes in, at Jupiter? You've been in business for 45 years, 3 years in with Propeller. But talk to us about the senior staff and how they, relate to these apprentices that now you're bringing in on board. What internal changes did you have to make in terms of just mentorship, supervision, and everything that entails, full incorporation of the program into Jupiter Energy Solutions?
I think because we were also part of the curriculum development, it was so easy for us to just align the program to us, because normally in our field of work you have a supervisor on site, you have foremen on site, you have a project engineer on site, so and then you have now the technicians, and most technicians we've been training attachments. People come from site, they come for attachments for 3 months. It's just that now it's just the timeline change, but the structure of the company and how we've been doing it did not change. It's just that now, instead of 3 months, you have someone for 2 years. And this someone needs more attention in the first 1 year, but the second year, they're actually part of our company because now they have learned a lot. Also, when you talk about the youth who is coming, because they know that actually they have an interest in learning, it's so easy to teach them because they are able to learn. You can send them, you know. There are some people you can't send, yeah. You can send them, give me that tool. They bring the tool, you ask them, you know, do you know which tool is this? They'll tell you, you see, because they have the learning mentality. Against someone who comes with the working mentality, they are two different type of people. So I think for us, it didn't bring a very drastic change. But the change that actually we talked about the technology, it's a very important topic to talk about, because as much as we still stay as the same, the structure is the same, the technology in our field, the field of electrical equipments are changing every day. The lighting and the way of doing electrical works changes every time. So maybe the challenge that we'll be talking about, and even to Nita, it is how the program will evolve with time, the future of the program. Because some time back we used to have these, you know, those lights, the ones that were for tubes. Now we have LED. The technology keeps changing. We are now going into e-mobility. We are going into solar installations. So our field, our electrical field is a technological field that keeps evolving every time. So these skills that we have, the biggest challenge is to make them useful at each time. So that is the biggest item that we need to think about, even as the program evolves over time. But in terms of accommodating them in our system, it wasn't a problem at all.
It was already there.
Yeah, it was already there.
Benta, you spent a week at Don Bosco Boys, and of course 3 weeks in a company. How was the transition like for you? You know, 1 week at school and then you go right into the company for work. How was that like?
Okay, I can say that it was not that easy, like being in the college throughout, then go for the attachment. It was a bit challenging, but if you remain focused, I just remain focused so that I can balance the two. Because you go to work for 3 weeks. When you are at the company, you work like other employees and you have to do your job well. You come back late, tired, and you still have to study because you are still a student. And so I had to stay focused to do my work at the company and also to manage my work during the 1 week at Don Bosco Boys Town. And also our trainers at Don Bosco, they were really helpful to us because they always journey with us, even when we are in the company. They ensure that they send different materials so that we continue studying. When we come to school, you are familiarized with what you are going to learn. And also the fact that you are learning something, then you are going to the company to practice it, that one also encouraged me a lot. And I can say that the Hilti Foundation, the Giberits, they brought us a lot of tools that help us to do the practicals, hands-on tool during the workshops, during the practical workshop at the school, so that when we go to the company, you are already familiarized with the tools you are going to use there. So that one, the system we used to learn, it was really good. And also we not only learn through the formal one, because we also use the digital style of studying. Like sometimes we project and see how the installation are being done in different places using different tools. So when we do it in the workshop and also at the company, you find it a bit easier. And also I can say when I chose plumbing, I chose it because it was something I was so passionate about, and I had a dream of doing something in the community which will bring a change also in the society. So I saw plumbing not only as an income generating career, but also a solution to the community. Because when you do plumbing, I always say that imagine you are in a house where the toilets are blocked, there is no water, like people will not be comfortable. But as a plumber, when I step in to do that, to bring that solution, people in that family will be happy, and also I will get something to sustain my livelihood. So it is not only a career that people do to earn.
It's passion.
You also support the community.
All right.
Yeah.
What a man can do, a woman can do better. Yeah. Let's take a very short break at this point. We're talking about how Kenya's private sector is investing in the youth. We are focusing on a program called Propel A. Of course, a program using a model also called dual apprenticeship. Stay with us. We'll be back in a short while.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine.
Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's Biashara Tuesday, and this morning we're focusing on the private sector and how they are investing in the youth in terms of just trying to fill in the gap of the unemployment situation in the country. I have a panel here, of course, from different sectors helping me understand how the private sector is coming in to fill that gap. But Jimmy, I would love to understand. We've always known that there's some companies who have been put on the spot, of course, for exploiting the young people at work, the interns, apprentices. But also Jane mentioned something, that with the Propel A, sometimes employers don't complain of lack of employees. So how does this program now come in to ensure that even as much as you are bringing in these people, they learn as they work, they're not being exploited, but they're being paid for their value and worth?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So it goes back to the design of Propeller. One, the important consideration that we had in the beginning was which sectors within the Kenyan economy are skills critical? Where is the private sector losing money as a result of not having the right level of skills? And focusing on the construction sector, we then narrowed into the plumbing and electrical trades. Because like Benta has mentioned, a poor plumbing work is easy to see. It's very easy to drive across Nairobi and see maps on the outside of many apartments where water has leaked, as an example. So the skills criticality of this Propeller program is one of the assurances that one private sector is taking this seriously, that is one, but also because they have skin in the game, right? They are investing their own money in training these people. So it in a way checks the incentive to apply this talent that you are paying for in a way that does not add to your business model, right? So that is one. Two, there is the role of NITA. One, in ensuring that there are quality apprenticeships at the workplace. And they do that through regular monitoring, but also making sure that we have a very short feedback loop between the trainers at the school, the mentors at the workplace, to ensure that what is being taught in the classroom resonates very strongly with what is happening at the work site. So there is not more than 7 days information flowing, that it is very easy to know whether an apprentice is being positioned in the right way, that they are adding value, they are learning a skill every week. So information flow across the implementers is very, very key in this sort of approach to actually make it work and be beneficial for the private sector, but most importantly for the apprentice, because they themselves have invested their own time. They could be doing a lot of other things, but they have chosen to commit to such a program. So it is very key that we are accountable, the private sector is accountable, and NITA holds all of us accountable to make sure that the apprentices are getting the best workplace experience that is available to them.
For the interest of time, Jane, what is the future of Propel A? And while you answer that, talk to us about the training levy. You'll correct me if I'm wrong on that. This reimbursement scheme, and how does it really just incentivize more employers to join in?
Okay, thank you so much. If I pick even from where Jimmy has just finished off, there is a contract that is signed, and the contracts, remember I said they are triplicate. So it is not just the apprentice who requires protection from exploitation. Even the employer requires protection from being exploited by the apprentice.
Oh, really?
So the contract has those stipulations. Nobody is exploited. Then this program, there is continuity, and it has a lifelong, because every employer contributes 50 shillings for their employee, per every employee. This is industrial training levy, and the 50 shillings is actually incentivized in the sense that NITA reimburses at 200%. So for example, in this case, all the employers who have taken up the apprentices are levy contributors. And the levy will meet the cost of in-center. So even if they are paying upfront to Don Bosco, they will then claim. Like now, the claims for the cohort 1, they're already being processed, and they're supposed to be reimbursed at 200%. So the levy is as per how much have you contributed. It's pooled fund. And then even for other skill areas. For example, you did ask, what about the older employees? How can they also benefit? It is part of that. They can still benefit, Jupiter can go back and say, we have this other employee who has now gotten a bit rusty, can we take them back to school for any kind of training that is approved? Our website has the approved skills. So again, we take them through the skill upgrading scheme. And as we do that, then remember we talked about new technologies coming on board. Part of what we do to ensure that new technologies are captured is partnering with manufacturers. Like now they are maybe manufacturing some things. So we say, can you come we partner with you? When you partner with manufacturers, it means that partnership, as long as there is new technology, you continuously have the information and you continuously review the curriculum. A curriculum is supposed to be overhauled every 3 years. But in between, there can be changes, small scale changes. Then within 3 years, there's time for it to be looked through and get reviewed.
All right. Carol, as we wind up, of course, there's usually this fear of losing your apprentices to, of course, competitors. How are you managing that risk with this, as your parting shot as well?
Yes. Thank you for that question. So, number one, I think it depends with your intention and your motive. Because one of our intention, it's not only to retain 100%, no. And actually, Nita mentioned a few meetings that we've had. You're supposed to train and let them go to outside the environment so that they can create change. This change is economic, that is through their work, but also socially. We are contributing to our nation, because if this person is out there, let's talk about the young men. If they are out there, what will they be doing what is the opportunity cost if they are not in the company? They would engage themselves in other social activities that are not good, which will affect us in another way, or even another company. So it's not even all about retaining them. If they want to go, it's okay. It's okay, because we have created value in them, and they can go and build their lives somewhere else. But we also encourage retaining them. If they go, it's okay. But if they go out there, it is also good for another employer.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, and then maybe just to end, I would like to invite a lot of the private sector, like us, companies like us, to also take it positively and come in, because no one is going to change this nation apart from us, as the people who have the opportunity to change. Instead of us looking, we can make an impact. Thank you.
All right, I'm hoping the director will allow me to give you time, Benta, of course, to give us your parting shot. What would you tell that young person who is so hesitant, just joining the Propeller program?
Okay, thanks again. I will take this opportunity as we celebrate the World Youth Skills Day, to encourage my fellow youth to join Propeller, because in Propeller it is a lot we learn, not only plumbing and electrical, but we also learn about soft skills. We also do the computer studies, the IT, and we also do the business management. So we are exposed to many skills. And also when you join Propeller and being assigned at a specific company, there are very good companies, and the program chose one of the best companies around Kenya to hold this program. As I can say, like Trade and Plumbers is one of the best mechanical service provider and the products, and they have exposed me to different construction sites, which have made me to learn different skills with different products. That one has really helped me to gain a lot of technical skills. And the soft skills which I learned under Propeller mentorship and the soft skill coaching has really empowered me to be more confident and resilient. And that one has really helped me to work under the male-dominated career field, like the one I'm in, like plumbing. And it is really good, and I really thank God for this opportunity. And the private sectors has really done a lot, because they take part in paying our school fees. They also provide that monthly stipend. At the same time, they also assign us to where we can get different skills. You don't do one thing all throughout the 2 years. You go to different sites and learn different skills.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, thank you so much for mentioning once again that it's World Youth Skills Day, and this year's theme, AI and digital skills. And you also mentioned something about you learning digitally, the skills from Propeller. We were talking about Propeller, a program that of course focuses on learning and working, among the young people. I've been with Jimmy Delian, Programs Lead at Swiss Contact, Jane Kemau, and Director Industrial Training and Skills Development at the National Industrial Training Authority. Thank you so much for making time. Caroline Kanja, General Manager, Jupiter Energy Solutions, and of course Benta Kinyi, Propeller graduate, and she works at Trident
Plumbers Limited.
Trident Plumbers Limited. Amesema, what a man can do, a woman can also do better. How Kenya's private sector is investing in the youth, the conversation we were having this Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning. My name is Anne Odida. Have a good day.
Good Morning Cafe, where we want to back